Welcome back. In this video, we will go through the code and all the way out with which our REST API and our front end is working on. So we have developed a basically complete MeanStack application which have a REST API which is running on basically localhost colon 3000, and it has been connected. It has JWT tokens into it. We have already covered all this, that how we have provided the authentication, JWT and tokens, and our local authentication into this strategy, etc, etc. I have also implemented the course, how that course are implemented into our application. Then we have seen our admin route, in which we have some basic class adding student access and the teacher access, etc. So this is our server and it is running on our machine. So now we want to access our this server end from client machine. In this way, first of all, we need to basically, if I go to view users, it will not display anything as we are not logged in yet. It will not provide any information. We just see the inspect the code so that we can know what is going on into our console. It responded with 401 unauthorized access, because everything that needs to be accessed has some credentials attached to this request also. So alternatively, whenever also I have not engaged with every validation and etc, but at least the data will not be displayed till then we sign in. Now we are going to sign in. Sorry, I will display one more thing with it. I should not close this console in it. And one more thing, you can see the application. In our application, we didn't have anything into our local storage till now. There is no key value pair. Now we will sign in. We will sign in using an admin account. Let's see, an admin and admin. We are logging with admin. Now you can see it has converted this local storage, local host, which is our site, into basically id token, which is provided by our system. It has saved that token into our local storage, and it also basically used the user, which is our admin user. The credential has been passed and saved into our local storage, and the sign in button has been converted with the logout button, and sign in button has been wind up. Now if we want to access, we will go to the console and click on view users. As I have not applied, sorry, let me refresh, because I have not applied. 1 second. It should fetch the data from the server. It has fetched, because REST API response from the REST API due to my system is little slow. I have not handled the response time. I should show the loading button till the time the data is received from our REST API. So I have not displayed that thing. So data is received from our REST API. We can inspect this thing into our console, that data has been basically received from as in shape of array from the server. Same, we can go to view students, where the data of the student will be loaded from a request list of students received, and it will be loaded into our system. And same, uh, the response time of my system is little slow, don't worry about it. It has fetched the data. So data has been fetched from the server. Same, view teacher, it will fetch the data from the server and will post here. I don't know my system, why my system is taking so much time to get that data. It should have shown that data in quick time, but it is getting slow and slow and slow. uh, Sorry for this inconvenience. I was not expecting this much slow processing. Okay. uh, by default it has basically connected to the server and get the data from the server. You can see here it has a get request with server, and for the slash admin slash teachers, and first it checks the options. Either it has been allowed by our server. It took few seconds, and then it took 13.508 milliseconds to respond with the get request. So it has provided us the data back, but unfortunately I don't know why it is not displaying the data as yet. There is, okay, I was trying to add few things. I think that has interrupted the system. Let me set that things. I tried to add few functionalities into our header component which alternatively slow down the process. I included change detection service which alternatively slow down whole process. So I'm removing it for the time period. So I'm also removing it from the constructor, which is basically slowing down the whole bunch of process. Till then, let's discuss the code. uh, what we have done till now, we have created two services. One is the data service and second is the auth service. Auth service, in it we have implemented the same type of code which we have discussed in our last class. I have basically created few functions, just like register user. User can be registered using this link, and then authenticate user. Whenever the user will request on the login button, I will show you the first login screen, then I will come to here like this. In this HTML file, simply whenever the user will provide this information and press on a submit button, it will call on login submit. It will call on login submit. Against on login submit, what we have done, we have basically included the auth service into our system, and then after auth service we have called basically on login submit. What we have done, we have called this dot auth service dot authenticate user, the method which we have implemented into our auth service. We have called that, which alternatively call that our REST API, and provide us the feedback. And whenever the feedback will be asked, we are checking if this dot data dot success, if the return message from the server is success, and also we are checking the user is an admin type of user. If the user is of admin type of user, what we are doing, we are saving its token into the memory. We are flashing a message, you are now login as admin, and timeout after few seconds, and it will redirect to the else. In case if the user is not the admin, then it will basically display the role of the user. Either he can be a teacher, or he can be an admin, or etc. Sorry, a teacher or a head or a student. So in that case we are displaying that no, you are logged in as the your role. After that we are navigating to relevant. In other case, like the user authentication fails, it provides the danger message and redirect to login service. So this is basically what we have done in our login component. In our basically auth service, we have implemented this authentication service. In authentication service, we have appended the header with JSON, and we have sent the request to login page, and login page sent us back basically the response. If the response is right, Then basically, sorry, one thing I couldn't explain in login component. What we did, we alternatively this dot token data token, this dot user data token, and if this all went well, it displays. It displays and store, it calls this method, which is actually store user data of our service. Now we are going to see the store user data. Basically I was searching this store user data function. In this stored user data, what we are doing, we are saving his token into our local storage, and also the user information into our local storage, and then accessing that information, putting that information into a variable that is available throughout in our basically our service. So we have basically saved the user information which user has sent, and now uh, the token and the user information is available. And against the logout, what we have done, we have cleared these variables, and we clear the local storage alternatively. Clear. And these are the four functions which we have implemented into our service. Now we are logging as admin. When we logged out, we will see our application. We will go to application, and you can see that our basically local storage has nothing to display now. Now we will log in as a user. There is a user Rashid, which is actually not an admin. So in that case, it has provided me you are now logged in as a teacher, and it has redirected me. If I will go to slash users, it will not display me the information, because this information is not displayable. It should have displayed into a console that I'm not authorized to actually access this. I'm unauthorized to access this. If I will call the view students, then the data will be loaded into our application. Sorry, this is all done by the admin. Okay, we have done the security, we have implemented the security that the only admin can view these things from the admin module, so that's why it cannot be displayed as a actually simple teacher user. So we are logging out, we are going back to the code. In our data service, what we have done in our data service, sorry, this code, in our data service, we are attaching actually header, authorization, bearer, and we are converting that token into a JavaScript object, and attach that as a bearer with our header information. And whenever we will request to the server, like view teacher, view add teacher, view student, etc., so that token will be attached with the application. In this way out, we are actually providing the token information to our server, and against that information, server will validate that information and will send back us the response. So that is the way out with which our authentication mechanism is working on. For adding or basically adding some data into a database, like you are logged in as an admin, and after that, if I add a teacher, Hafiz, hopefully now it will be working, lecturer, and we are adding a teacher into our application, and we are viewing a list of teachers. I don't know why it is getting slow and slow. It should have displayed me the data at first sight. I think so somewhere else I have also applied that change detection, that's why it is not working very well. I have added, okay, let me see. there are some errors into the code. It was working fine. Let's add a test user with the test designation and see how it respond back. Teacher added successfully into our basically server side. Then why it is not displaying me the data from the server side accordingly? It has been added, sorry, it has been added as a test, but change detection which I have applied is, I was working on the code, that's why there are some errors, because I was trying to add few new functionality into our system, but that has impacted the code also. I have sorry, I have added a few change detection here also at the root level, so that's why it is also impacting the application performance. In a good sense, I should not have applied before the class start. So actually this uh, basically, if I go to add this teacher, what it is doing, it is just in the form we have taken few variables, name and designation, and on click we are calling the add teacher function, and against the add teacher function what we have applied, we have converted the teacher into an object with the name and designation, and after that we have called our basically add teacher function of our data service, and subscribe to the data service. Basically alternatively added that information into our REST API. We will see it also, add teacher. This, in this case, the teacher has been added through this REST API link. So alternatively that information has been saved into our application. So what we are doing, we are actually working and displaying, sorry, that change direction has been gone, so the system has working start normally. That activity has created a little fast for me. So now you can add a new teacher without any tension, or for example I was adding Tahir, and he is a professor. So we have added a new teacher into our application, so that Tahir has been added as a professor, so the system has started working accordingly. If you want to implement other things like drop down menus and etc., I have already uploaded another basically crowd based Angular application, where you can see basically that is available there. You can delete information, and like in this we have used select to draw to attach basically ng4, and with that we basically populate a drop down menu with the actually variable from the databases. So you can see it also, and you can see our current application. I will upload it today into REST API, sorry, into our Git repository, and I will share the link with you over the MS Teams and WhatsApp group. So you will get these information from basically these two places. Alternatively, we have started this little information from, you can say, we started with print hello function, and in Node.js, and alhamdulillah after this a period of time we have succeeded in achieving a full-fledged MeanStack application. We started with Node, then we studied the MongoDB, then we studied the Express, then JSON, then JWT, Passport, and as complete server-side REST API. Then we studied the Angular concepts and we implemented those concepts into this front-end application. We attached Bootstrap into our application, etc., 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 and finally we have created our application which is viewable. You can create any sort of application using your Angular front end. Although my designing is not good and it is just messy here, you can see the classes here. What I did, I picked the classes. You still remember basically the population method. With that we received an array and I showed the name of those students into this. I will just display this thing. This will be a little interesting for you also. View classes. In this, what we did, we displayed, we took basically classes, a list of classes which we received from the system there, and in that we have implemented another for loop. So nested for loop, we have taken the classes, and from the classes we have taken the students, and student is an array also. So we took the list of students and display the roll number. We can change we can show the names also, dot name, if we want to display the name. So alternatively we populated the information in our nested for loop also. So this is the way out with which we can display a nested for loop. We only received a simple classes from basically our REST API, which is a complete object. We traverse that object and used in a nested for loop. So that is all what we have in Angular. From next class we will start our React, and we will go through React and all the concepts of React, and we will implement same sort of interface using React also. Thank you very much for bearing me. Inshallah we will continue to learn and we will continue to excel ahead. Thank you very much.